Good morning and welcome to what is unfortunately part 2 of my XDM Elite 5.25 inch handgun review. Due to some technical difficulties or incompetence or just plain crappy program, I'm not able to splice all 3 segments of this together with the pre and then the shooting and then the post. So this is the post. Maybe later, if I don't procrastinate it and get a better video program, I'll splice them all together. Promise? Trust me? Anyway. Let's get on to the important stuff, the actual review. As I said, I did unfortunately acquire a Glock to kind of look at it not as a head-to-head competition, you know, how did I like this versus this, but more to look at it as a industry standard, because my understanding from speaking to people in and out of the shooting community is pretty much the Glock's in control of the market. So you guys, you just consider them kind of the industry standard for, especially for striker style firearms. Handguns specifically. But so let's move into this. We'll start by looking at loading the magazines. The Glock, unfortunately or fortunately, has a weaker spring in the magazine. It was easier to load rounds into the magazine, so I didn't experience any problems where it was too weak, where it failed to feed. The XD, my original XD, had the same problem. I had it for years and it still had a brutally stiff spring in the mag that just, like, you could use it to shove a drag car into the staging on the line, man. I mean, it is just a monster spring. I tried a little dry graphite in the magazines to help out, but I think a lot of it is literally just spring strength. You get down to about round number 15, Merry Christmas. Later I will actually try and put all 22 in one of these. I may actually video that because I'm sure there will be a lot of cursing involved, and it'll probably be very entertaining for anyone who is not living it. Next step, we'll talk about loading the magazine into the well. The XDM has this brutally big magazine well. Bloop, goes right in. Merry Christmas. Theoretically, you're probably looking at it anyway. It helps some. Great. Glock has a slightly less setup deal. Not a great big magazine well. Didn't really affect what I was doing. So I don't know whether you'll take that as a pro or a con. That's just a piece of information. Next, let's talk about actually firing it. As I said before in the initial on the XDM, it's about as ambidextrous as you can get. Slide release, magazine release, trigger. Glock, not so much. If you're a righty, you probably enjoy shooting the thing, but if you're a lefty, well, good luck. There's also, I could not find a way to look at the Glock and have it tell you that, hey, there's a round in the chamber, chucklehead. Don't be a dum-dum baby and pull the trigger for grins and giggles. On the XD, you have a little notch here that tells you, yeah, no joke, there's one in the chamber, be careful. The trigger itself, I wasn't as enthusiastic about the trigger setting, how the Glock trigger worked. The new meta trigger from XDM, the Elite, I think was a superior trigger based on my experience with my older XD in 45. The new meta trigger seems to be an advancement above, at least definitely, the old XD tactical I had in 45. So you had a good crisp feel when it broke over. And as far as the reset point, if you like to ride that ramp and immediately take, instead of, okay, by riding the ramp, what I mean is, if you let the trigger all the way out and then pull it to the rear again, that's just a standard trigger squeeze. If you want to go a little more rapid fire, what you can do is release the trigger to its reset point only and not all the way back out, and then squeeze the trigger again to get that other round off. There was a good positive feel to where that reset point was in the XDM Elite. My older XD, borderline, you could feel it once you got used to it, but initially it wasn't there. It didn't really feel through your hand transmit that feeling of, okay, I'm right there, I'm good, that's as far as I need to go to get the next round off. The meta trigger seems to be an advancement, at least in that stage, and I like the overall feel of it better, even compared to my older XD. On shooting also, we'll talk about displacements. Your XDM Elites are currently only chambered in 9mm. Different barrel lengths and different stock magazine number or capacity are basically the only options you have There's a couple features that are not available on some of the smaller Elites, adjustable rear sights, and a couple other items. So if you are considering purchasing one, go to the site, take a look at it, see what options and features it has and what you want out of it, and then purchase accordingly. On the sights, I did enjoy that adjustability, although I haven't played with it. Eventually I probably will, because apparently I'm shooting to the right a little bit with it. That fiber optic front, where the light hits it, good visibility. What I did not like is the rear. They didn't follow up with any type of assistant bracketing mechanism, like a pair of dots back there so you can line all three up, or a crenellated crook where you can get it right in there, bang, that's where I want to be, I'm going to pull the trigger, I'm good. On the other hand, against the industry leader, crenellation, white, so you line up the whites. When it's a solid white, you squeeze the trigger, that's where you're at. So, like the adjustability, they just need to go a little bit further. I think moving into the future, I'm sure they'll probably offer some more calipers in order to give you an ability to get something with a little more stopping power. Or maybe it's just literally meant to be a competition line of handguns. But it seems to me, by the fact that they're making smaller length handguns, they're also trying to appeal to the concealed carry community. And that may be something that they really want to look at doing 10mm 40 Smith & Wesson or 45 autoing. Just my viewpoint on that. Overall, I enjoyed the XDM Elite. I think it definitely was an advance on my older XD. I've shot a couple friends' older style XDMs. I do feel that there is an advancement in the trigger. I feel it's a legitimate thing. They've spent some money on it. It does feel like a better trigger to me. So, if you are a big fan of modifying your triggers or having a good feel in your trigger, you might definitely look at the XDM Elite right out of the box. So I really think that about covers it. I hope everyone will bear with me through these technical difficulties as I try and get everything straight, and in the future I'll be moving into working on some reviews on firearms that I can actually hit a target with, so the shooting segment will probably be a little more amusing other than just laughing at me. And we'll be doing some shotgun stuff and some AR builds and some other things. So I hope that overall people will stick with the channel, like and subscribe, and come back and look at what I've got for you later, other than just sarcasm and general amusement factor. So thanks a lot, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great day.